afternoon, everyone. My name is Lionel Lucien, and I met Jacques Borges in 1986 when I was sent for an internship at Bryant Associates as an intern from Northeastern University. When I get there, I was impressed and opened my eyes when I realized that Jacques Borges was the vice president of Bryant Associates at the time. It did influence my decision in terms of focusing my career on civil engineering when at the time I has doubt on it. So it is pretty much a pleasure for me to be here, to be part of this event, to honor him, and also to kind of share with you some of my thought on his pretty much long-standing professional career. And I want to call this pretty much Jacques Borges' hidden contribution to his profession and to his community, because I have a sense sometimes, again, coming from the same field, that people don't fully appreciate Jacques Borges' contribution to his trade and also to the community, to the United States that he has adopted as his country. So again, it's honoring for me. He's a trailblazer in the field, because you would not find that many Haitians that has the type of stellar career that he has had over the year. So I want to start with this picture. Again, it's, if you see on the left, that's elected President Joe Biden. And I think in the background is my son that was at an event that he attended back in the years in Boston. In the right is my young niece, Malaika Lucien, with Vice President-elect Kamala Harris. Again, it's not about them today, it's about Jacques Borges. But again, when you get the sense of my presentation, we'll see the relevancy of these pictures. Moving next, I want to quickly give you a synopsis of Jacques' career. Basically, Jacques graduated in 1959 from École Polytechnique in Haiti. For those who know École Polytechnique now, Faculté des Sciences, this is one of the most competitive and challenging schools to get in and get out. And if you can get in and get out of École Polytechnique, you can get in any very competitive school, engineering school in the US, to tell you the type of caliber, of professional caliber Jacques was. Jacques moved to New York in 1959 and started his career at an engineering firm, but as a drafter. He did put his humble self, basically swallow his pride, because at the time they didn't recognize his diploma from Haiti. But again, as soon as he get there, he was able to demonstrate his capacity, his knowledge, and pretty quickly, they start giving him responsibility of engineering responsibility until he get a full position as an engineer. Jacques worked with the firm, and at the time when this firm, particular firm, get a contract in Massachusetts, he was sent to lead a pretty significant project that I will quickly discuss further down. Again, that was the firm Pavlo when he worked on Route 128. In the meantime, he obtained his professional licensure and also an MBA. Again, he paved the way for the US to start recognizing people that graduated from Haiti through his capacity, through his seriousness, to pretty much the type of hard work that he put in. Jacques, as part of this firm, traveled the country to work on several projects in Atlanta, Miami, Delaware, Los Angeles, but primarily he settled in Boston, where he became vice president of Bryant Associates and subsequently Mr. Associate, a career that spanned a period of 23 years between those two firms. Jacques, at some point in time, did retire in late 1999, but he was called by the mayor of Brockton to be the city engineer. A call that Jacques could not refuse, because he looked forward so much to serve the community that has adopted him, and more specifically, the Haitian community that he loved so much. So again, my goal is trying to kind of give you a sense of his hidden contribution to the field of engineering, the field of transportation, to Massachusetts, to the US, basically, how he have contributed. Because I sense sometimes we don't get a good, full understanding of it, basically, mainly when you are not in that field. Route 128 Leadfield and Peabody was a significant portion of the I-95, which is part of the interstate highway system. He get to work in this project in the mid-1960s, basically. It was a significant project that kind of connected the north part of the state with the rest of, again, the north of the country, Maine and New Hampshire. But in the meantime, it has significantly increased economic development, residential development that has allowed people from Boston to move in some of the northern suburbs. On the right, you can see in the left in the picture is pretty much back then when it started construction. The left, right, how it got completed. And in the bottom, if you look at it, how over time, economic development, commercial development have expanded. So in a way, the work that he's putting has contributed to some significant expansion, basically, of opportunity for all, basically, whether it's mostly for American, but as well as for Haitian. Another project that I want to bring to your attention that worked in, Jacques was sent to play the construction of the Metro Atlanta Regional Transit Authority. That was kind of in the early 1970s. And there's a whole historical and political perspective behind this project. If you look at the picture on the right, it's 4 counties, Cobb, DeKalb, Gwinnett, and Clayton County. Primarily at the time inhabited by African American. And at the time there was a strong view that they shouldn't invest in the infrastructure because at the time most of the white people were pretty much leaving Atlanta because that was the center of the civil rights movement. But again, to pressure for people like Congressman John Lewis, they were able to invest and started construction of this project. Jacques went down and played a key role. And if you can see on the right, all the infrastructure work that is there, which I'm assuming Jacques was pretty familiar with, that he would have enjoyed giving a history about this type of work overall. But the good part of it, the construction started in the early 70s, led to the construction of 38 station, about 47 miles of transit line, basically. Currently, we have a ridership of 250,000 people on a daily basis and about 130 million a year. But what I hope, when I'm talking about hidden contribution from Jacques, during the last election, those 4 counties, Gwinnett, Cobb, DeKalb, and Clayton, are the 4 counties that really changed Georgia from being a Democratic or a Republican win to pretty much being a Democratic win. Mm-hmm. As you can see in the Gwinnett transit vote, basically, this is what has transported all of the people back and forth between polling stations, including most of the youth, the Gen X, Latin X that have moved to Atlanta during that period, that are contributing to significantly change the makeup of Georgia. So this is a little bit the type of indirectly contribution that he has done, basically, that people may not fully understand, that I'm pretty sure if he was here, he would have enjoyed and clearly have a laugh. Next, I want to clearly move to Bryant Associates, that Jacques was vice president for a significant number of times. The firm started with 3 people in 1976. Jacques moved in 1978, become vice president. Jacques was instrumental in getting a number of contracts in the big dig for Bryant Associates. The firm has grown during this time from being a 3 to 15 employee to an 80 employee firm with about 6 offices nationwide, basically. They were the primary minority firm with contract in the big dig during that period. So indirectly, is clearly understanding how he somehow contributed to the work that was being done. Again, I put some picture here, construction during the big dig, what has become for Boston before and after the big dig construction during that period. Providing transformative projects that provide access to port and airport, international hubs, seaport revitalization, significant billions of dollars of investment within the city of Boston as a result of the work. Jacques would be the first to tell you, again, this is not him, this is a team effort, basically. But it is important that we recognize to a certain extent somehow the contribution that he's made to this work. In 1999, again, Jacques retired to his beloved second home, the city of Brockton, basically. So, and he started working for the mayor's office. That were where he really started doing a lot of work to improve the processes, the procedures within the city engineering department. And you can hear mayor units making a clear testimony about the work Jacques has done to make the things better within the city. And again, Jacques was just making the engineering part. If you go and you see the flag in front of the city hall, the Haitian flag floating, you can attribute that to Jacques, a proud Haitian American that never shy away from letting people know about his roots and about his people. Again, significant responsibility. Sometimes we don't understand what goes behind being a city engineer, being able to make it happen so the city can work. People go to work, flush their toilet, get water, get electricity. Behind this is a pretty much group that make it work. And those in leading will take the responsibility and sometimes the blame as well. But again, his competency, his hard work, his communication, his working with the team always led to pretty much successful result. And he has gained the respect of many for his work within the city of Brockton. Last, I definitely want to put a few key words about Jacques' legacy. A highly competent professional engineer that was well respected within DOT, within the private consultant world. Integrity and professionalism. I think his son just mentioned about integrity. Yes, integrity. Jacques is not gonna cut corners to pretty much to make things happen for you because it will give him profit or that will get him to move up, basically. He makes sure things are done right in the most professional way. Dedicated and passionate for his work. Whatever he was doing, you can hear him discussing about project, how he loved what he was doing, basically. He was selflessness and also a team worker. He will put the team first before himself, basically, making sure that all are successful. He was a mentor and a role model. I think Lodi was mentioning how he helped him. Countless of other young engineers will tell you about Jacques Borges. He will call me several times trying to get someone here in DOT. Can you find out where they are hiring? Can you put a good word for him? He was an exemplary public servant. I understand that Mayor Sullivan talked about Jacques. Again, it's several mayors that will talk to you about Jacques. Mayor Carpenter, Mayor Sullivan, Mayor Eunice will all talk good about what has Jacques has done for the city, both from the community side and both from the engineering side. Jacques was also a staunch advocate for his community. He loves the Haitian people. He never shied away from standing for them, from being part of so many organizations to pretty much advance their cause.